Alright, this is going to be a simple guide about Banyue.
Whatever you seek, I will devote myself wholeheartedly.
Not only I'll be going over of how he works and what makes him a little different from other DPS agents, I'll also briefly talk about his builds and teams. Without wasting time, let's get started.
Know your enemy. Seize the advantage. I presume you are deeply immersed in planning.
For Drive Disc, the 4-piece to run is Yunkai Tails. Frankly, the only option for Rupture Agents. Provides 10% HP, which is needed for a Rupture Agent, and gain crit rates up to 12% for 15 seconds, also a 10% increase of sheer damage. For a 2-piece set, it's either Woodpecker for crit rate, or Branch and Blade for crit damage. It depends on how lucky you get with the substats. For main stats, the 4th slot can either be crit rate or damage. Again, depends on your luck with the substats. The 5th slot, the hardest to get a good piece, fire damage bonus. The 6th slot, second hardest to get a good piece, HP percent. Now, when it comes to W engines, Banyue has a few choices. The best is obviously his signature, Raffle Vajra. Free 20% crit rate, and a total of 18% extra fire sheer damage. The second is Cauldron of Clarity. For the crit rate increase by over 10%. You can get this from an event. A solid option is Puzzle Sphere. For the crit damage increase by over 25%. Meanwhile, Radio Wave Journey and Grow Risp are both very mediocre for Banyue. For the B rank, forget it. For teams, Banyue has a decent amount of them. His best team would be with Dailin and Lucia. The second best will be Fufu instead of Dailin. Personally, this team is where I get the best results. There is free-to-play options, Pokra and Pan. You can either run one of them or both. There are other ages that could work, like Trigger and Astra. There's Caldia, but there are better options. Banyue is a Rupture Fire agent who specializes on cancelable specials, combos, and follow-ups. There's a handful of things that makes Banyue quite different from every other agent, not just DPS. To start, Banyue has 2 separate basic strains, one from the basic attack button, and the other from the EX button. So basically, this is strain 1, and this is strain 2. It's pretty clear due to strain 2 that Banyue doesn't have any regular EX specials. What he does have are 4 special moves: Earth Shaker, Mountain Tremor, One's Path, and Lion's Roar. There are ways to trigger them. Lion's Roar after the second hit of strain 1, Mountain Tremor after the second hit of strain 2, Earth Shaker after the 3rd or 4th hit of strain 1, One's Path after the 3rd or 4th hit of strain 2. Now, there's more you can do after one of the specials due to cancels by quickly inputting the next special commands. For example, Earth Shaker into Mountain Tremor, and One's Path into Lion's Roar. Here are a couple of examples of full string combos. The 2 strains are not the only thing you can do when it comes to using EX specials. Quickly input the commands after a perfect dodge counter, after a defense assist / parry, after a chain attack, and after using ultimate.
Nothing's fall. Scatter.
Now, the one thing that makes Banyue different from other DPS is that he can parry Immovable Mountain. To use it while you're attacking, press the dodge button when the enemy is about to strike. Lastly, I'll be talking about his mechanic, which is also his main source of dealing big damage. Basically get enough Wrathful Fires to get in Vision of Wrath state. There is ways to gain Wrathful Fires, both in and out of combat. For out of combat, hold the basic attack till it reaches the line, or under. Though, you'll only be able to do this at the beginning of the endgames, Shield Defense, and Deadly Assault. While in combat, which you'll be doing for the most part, there are a handful of ways to gain Wrathful Fires. Use EX Specials, which consumes Adrenaline, aka Energy, Defense Assist, /parry, and triggering a perfect dodge. As you see at the top left corner below Banyue's UI, once the bar reaches the line, you can enter the Vision of Wrath state. To enter it, hold the basic attack button while attacking, or, to be sure, while using the EX special, or after a chain attack, or after using ultimate. While you're in that state, when you use an EX special, you gain Adrenaline. It can only be effective up to 4 times. You also technically gain 2 moves, Toppling Mountain and Crushing Peaks. For Toppling Mountain, while attacking, just hold the basic attack button. A decent combo finisher. Once used, you'll exit the Vision of Wrath state. Now, for Crushing Peaks, which is a better version of Toppling Mountains, so it's best to end a combo that way. All you have to do is, after using at least 2 different EX specials, hold basic attack and let it rip. With all that explained, I'll be showcasing the fight against the Thrall with Banyue's best team.
Watch out, 1 for complaints. Dial 2 for a shot.
Back off. Annihilate.
Premium.
Nothing's fall. Scatter. Ceaseless strikes! Mountainous strength!
For complaints? Too late for that. Easy peasy, right? The name of the fight,
Annihilate!
Premium.
Make the earth tremble!
Hello? This is the end for you! Turn around! Wanna play a game?
Back off!
Watch out! Smash them!
Annihilate! End this hatred!
Today's work order?
Not the small earth shattered! Right!
Shoot! Got one for the place!
Stand unyielding! Watch your back!
Not the best matchup for Banyue, but still solid. Like the two videos that I made about Banyue, as I said, he is not very friendly when it comes to button mashing. But don't get too discouraged. Once you have the muscle memory, you're all set. He is one of my favorite agents to play. Extremely fun. He may not be broken, but he is still great. And that's it for the guide.